My name is Chloe Clifford-Asprey, and I'm a research associate at the Global Strategy Lab's AMR Policy Accelerator. Antimicrobial resistance, which we also call AMR, is one of the world's most significant health and development challenges. AMR can happen when bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites change over time and no longer respond to medicines, which can make infections difficult or even impossible to treat. But did you know that the food system plays a major role in driving AMR? From how food is produced and processed to how it gets handled and consumed, every step along the way can contribute to the spread of AMR. In our recent study, we looked at 80 existing systematic reviews to understand how AMR emerges and spreads both in and from the food system. To do this, we use something we call a causal loop diagram, which allows us to map how human, animal, ecological, and economic systems interact. We found that AMR in the food system is driven by a complex web of factors. Let's take a closer look at that. One of the factors that influences antimicrobial use is really the interplay between economic pressures, animal welfare concerns, and productivity goals. For example, farmers often use antimicrobials not only to treat sick animals, but also to help keep their animals healthy. This help maintains production and protect their income, and also supports animal welfare, as animals aren't left with untreated illnesses. However, this has to be balanced against the risks of excessive antimicrobial use. In this study, we were also interested in the role ecosystems and the environment play in this story. For example, water sources can play a major role in the spread of AMR. Farms located near areas where waste from humans, animals, or hospitals are released faced a higher risk of exposure to antibiotics and AMR. And the chain continues here. Food-producing animals can be exposed to resistant bacteria through contaminated animal feed, water, soil, or even the clothing worn by livestock workers. And in humans, especially those who work with livestock, resistant bacteria can spread through contact with farm animals. For the wider community, there can also be risks from consuming contaminated food. All of these factors are deeply interconnected and have the potential to create ongoing cycles of transmission. Regulations, improved practices, and better awareness can help us reduce antimicrobial use, but we see that there are important trade-offs. Using fewer antimicrobials might reduce productivity, for example, and it could also negatively impact animal welfare. Significant investment may be needed for new infrastructure or training to transition away from production systems that rely intensively on antimicrobials. So where to next? What are we going to do with these findings? The insights from this review helped inform a series of stakeholder workshops in Canada, the Netherlands, Hungary, and Senegal. At these workshops, participants from policy, research, and practice mapped out how AMR emerges and spreads in their own country context. They expanded and contextualized the map of the system that we developed in this study and identified priority policy actions in their own country context. This review and the broader Designing AMR Governance project aims to help develop better strategies to address AMR around the globe. AMR is a complex problem that needs a One Health approach, connecting human health, food production, animal health, and the environment. To learn more about this study or the Designing AMR Governance project, please visit the link shared in the description.